What's up, everybody? Welcome to the weekly pulls. My name's Derek. These are my pulls for the week of June the 16th. Like, subscribe, share, comment, follow me on Twitter at the weekly pulls. I have 4 comics to talk to you about this week. All 4 are great. Let's jump right in. First up, we have Alien number 4. I love this Alien series, you guys. I love the art in this book, specifically the shading. All of the shadows are spot on. Gabe and his team up in the space station, they find Bishop, this robot humanoid that's helping them find his son Danny and escape. Gabe also has to find the alpha embryo at all costs. They end up finding a bunch of their dead crew with their chests already bursted. Xenomorphs have ran the space station rampant, you guys. It's awesome. Unfortunately, they do find Gabe's son Danny with a face hugger sucked on there tight. Gabe then decides he's going to kill Danny, put him out of his misery. Danny's girlfriend, the leader of the anti-Weyland-Yutani terrorist group, and Bishop convinced Gabe otherwise. Gabe does come pretty close to getting killed this issue. This is probably my favorite page in the whole issue. There's just so much going on, and I really like the sequences in here. This is just a really fantastic, fundamental Alien story. If you love Xenomorphs, if you love the movies, if you love Alien in general, pick this up. If you're not reading it in singles, definitely pick it up when it comes out in trade. I love the story. I really like what Marvel's doing with Alien. Tons of blood, guts, nice story, likable characters. This is really good. You don't want to miss out. Alright, next up we have the 3rd installment of Image's new horror line, The Silver Coin, number 3. The name of this story arc is Death Rattle by Ed Brisson and Michael Walsh. This issue is my favorite issue of The Silver Coin so far. I thought for sure issue 1 would be my favorite forever, but this issue was sick. First of all, the title Death Rattle. As soon as I saw what the title was going to be, I immediately thought of Pantera, the song they used in the episode of SpongeBob when Sandy was hibernating. Silver Coin as a series itself, every issue is an individual story, different creators. Long story short, someone finds a silver coin, their life gets ruined. And that's what Michael Walsh has put on Twitter. It's great storytelling. I love the concept. It's a lot of fun. This issue, the story starts off as a home invasion gone wrong. There's 3 of them, 2 men and a woman. The house they're breaking into, the man falls over dead. They don't know why. All of a sudden, Lisa's hearing the dead man talk to her. She starts to freak out a little bit. She then finds the coin. After they load up their vehicle with all the things that they stole from this fella, they torch the house. This is probably one of my favorite pages in all the comics I read this week. I love the colors, the fire, the detail. It's beautiful. After they torch the place, they're getting chased by the cops. The coin is speaking to Lisa, telling her to tell the driver where to turn off, and we get a nice back reference to issue number 2. This is the first connection. Granted, this is only the 3rd issue, but this is the first connection that we see from an issue to another issue. In one of the panels, you can see a sign for Camp Serenity, which is where the little girl from issue 2 was. The burglars wind up wrecking off a cliff. This is one of my favorite sequences in this book. I love panel to panel the flow of the car falling off the cliff. It's awesome. Lisa ends up killing one of her co-conspirators with a shard of glass to the neck. That was pretty freaking brutal. Love the detail here. This book is not short of blood and guts. Lisa then begins trekking through the woods, following the voice that was talking to her in the house to begin with some shadow people. She's then commanded to kill the police officers that are following her, and she listens very violently. The first one she bludgeons with a rock. The second one she bites his jugular out. Super detailed. She has that crazy look in her eye here. This page really gave me chills. Did not expect it to go that far, but I should have, because it's Ed Brisson and Michael Walsh. They are masters of horror, and this is where it's at. Honestly, this sequence of her biting out the dude's jugular is probably the most violent sequence we've had in the Silver Coin thus yet. So then finds the Evil Dead style cabin in the woods that the little girl from issue 2 also found. The door to the cabin opens. There's a shadowy figure that takes the coin back from Lisa. Whoever this figure is was calling for her to return the coin. Once she returns it, she comes to her senses. She has no idea what was going on, but she knows everything that happened, claims she wasn't in control, and then she's burst into flames. I love this series so far. The next issue starts a brand new arc with Jeff Lemire. If you're a fan of Sweet Tooth, if you've watched the show on Netflix, or you've read the comics, Jeff Lemire, the creator of Sweet Tooth, is doing the next issue with Michael Walsh. That's going to be very exciting. Definitely pick this up if you're a horror fan. The whole creative team is nothing but stars. Chip Zdarsky, Michael Walsh, Kelly Thompson, Ed Brisson, Jeff Lemire. I mean, the list just goes on and on. You don't want to miss the silver coin, you guys. Next on my polls, we have Ultramega number 4. Look at this cover. The cover, this series is so vibrant. Ultramega is one of the coolest, weirdest, trippiest looking comics that I have ever read. This issue picks up immediately where issue 3 left off. Noah, our main protagonist, was gutted. I thought for sure he was gonna die, but it's Ultramega, anything goes. Noah goes with this eyeball character on this acid trip like journey to find what the eyeball is calling the Atom Eye. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know all the time what's going on in this book, but it's great nonetheless. This Atom Eye character is infected with kaiju maggots. I thought that was really funny. The maggots are brutal looking, so therefore he's no help for what the Eye wants to do for Noah. The eyeball is trying to save Noah's life. He was gutted. Beth is still kidnapped by the kaijus. They're using her. She's being forced by the kaiju queen to power their giant robot. I love this giant robot. I love the design. It's super rad. With Atom Eye being no help, Noah is forced for his own survival to bond with the eyeball creature. Love this page. I love every page in this book. It's so awesome. The colors, everything, sequence to sequence. Noah bonding with the eyeball creature. He finally, after 3 issues, on this beautiful 4th issue, he finally becomes an Ultramega. So many fights in this book. This was the most action-packed issue so far. Noah is going head-to-head with all these kaijus. Tons of blood, guts, panel to panel, page to page. It's sick. Noah does end up head-to-head with the queen of the kaijus. Rips her head clean off in this beautiful sequence. Oh, I love Ultramega. And he loses his hand in the process of ripping her head off. Totally worth it if you ask me. Jason, the OG Ultramega from issue number 1, Noah's father, his head then falls like a meteor from space into Earth and lands right with Noah and Beth. He asks Noah in a negative way, "You didn't bond with it, did you?" And so now that's got me thinking, oh, was Noah not supposed to bond with this eyeball creature? Is this eyeball creature a villain? Does he have bad intentions for Noah? I don't know. I cannot stress enough how great this is. If you haven't been reading Ultramega, you need to get on this. Unfortunately, when you get to the end of the issue, we do learn that there's not going to be another full issue of Ultramega until next year. I know, it's very unfortunate because I love this series, but it's going to be totally worth the wait. The series is great if you love kaiju, if you love giant monsters, violence, acid trip style art. This is the best book on the shelf right now for that, you guys. You don't want to miss Ultramega. Alright, you've made it with me this far to the end of the video for my pick of the week. If you follow me on Twitter, you already know what this is. If you've watched my previous videos for previous issues of this series, you know what this is. It's my pick of the week. Radiant Black, number 5. I love Radiant Black with a passion. Holy crap, you guys. In my previous reviews for past issues of Radiant Black, I haven't told you about any of the story. I didn't want to do any spoilers. I'm about to spoil everything right now because I am dying to talk about this. I want y'all to get in the comments and talk about Radiant Black with me. If you haven't read this yet, if you don't want me to spoil it, don't watch my review for this, okay? We're about to deep dive into Radiant Black. First of all, if you haven't checked it out, Radiant Black does have a theme song by LA-based heavy metal band Crisis Couture. Check them out. Sam Ewing, the man that wrote the intro music for The Walking Dead, is composing an orchestra piece for every single issue of the first story arc of Radiant Black, and that is including issues 1 through 6. Check those out too on the Radiant Black website. If you haven't read Radiant Black yet, the trade paperback collecting issues 1 through 6 for the first story arc is coming out August the 25th. Issue 6 comes out next month. This is the best superhero comic out there right now, you guys. This is the next big thing. I've been saying it from the beginning. If you're not reading Radiant Black, you're going to. You're going to know about it. He's going to be everywhere. This series is phenomenal. The art, the story, the characters, everything about this series is off the charts. Let's dive into some spoilers and talk about what happened to this issue. The end of last issue, our main character, Nathan, died, or at least we believed him to be dead, and Marshall, his best friend, obtained the suit and became Radiant Black. Threw me through a loop. What the hell? Kyle Higgins said, screw it, we're gonna do whatever we want, and I'm living for it. As of right now, Nathan is not dead. In the beginning of the issue, he is in a coma and he's sent to the hospital. Marshall is devastated. He's so frustrated, he ends up flying into a grain silo out of pure frustration. And I feel for him. Nathan was his best friend, and I totally get that. This is one of my favorite pages right here. It's gorgeous. The colors, man, it's art, you guys. That's all this is art. This is some museum level stuff here. Marshall is negotiating with the cosmic being. The cosmic being that's been talking to Nathan in previous issues, of course, about the radiance coming. You have to protect Earth. Are you willing to die? Are you willing to kill to protect your planet? And Marshall negotiating with him, saying, if you take me and let me kill Radiant Red, the one who put Nathan in a coma, I'll do whatever you want. Marshall confronts Radiant Red. We get a sick fight through a couple pages of here. Wow. I mean, the art in this book, the sequencing, the action, the dialogue, this is a 10 out of 10. Panel to panel, punch to punch, this issue flows better than water downstream. In the fight, Marshall ends up knocking Radiant Red down into the frozen Lake Erie. Really love that page too. He then activates a cape mode that we didn't know he had. I think Radiant Black looks pretty dope with a cape. I hope that becomes a more prominent thing in later issues. Radiant Red then emerges from frozen Lake Erie in what reminds me of Iron Man's Hulkbuster, right? Like, look at this. It's massive, it's huge. Marshall is way in over his head until Marshall just gets so angry and he blasts him. Plot twist. Radiant Red's not a him. It's a girl. Sick. Not gonna lie, I kind of had a feeling that Radiant Red was a girl. I don't know why. Something in my gut just told me that this isn't what we expect. I mean, after them almost killing Nathan, all kinds of different plot twists came in my head. I was like, okay, what are they going to do to throw us through a loop, right? Like, of course we expected Radiant Red to just be another dude, but it's not. It's a girl. Then we get this beautiful double page splash here of I'm just going to call them Radiant Yellow and Radiant Pink. And they're coming to warn them, you know, quit fighting with each other. There's something even worse coming. In the very last page, we get this cosmic looking samurai who is ready to kill all of them. Cosmic Being had been warning Nathan in previous issues that the Radiant is coming. This Radiant is willing to kill them all to get the power back, being these cosmic suits. And they're here, and it's going to get wild. Next month's issue, number 6, closes out this first story arc. Not necessarily called 1 through 3 slow, but definitely 4 and 5 put the pedal to the metal. I love Radiant Black right now. I'm obsessed with this series. I'm recommending it to everybody. I'm recommending it to all of you watching, everybody on my Twitter. If you're not reading Radiant Black, you are missing out. There's so many variants, so many different covers to choose from. I'm pretty sure issues 1 and 2 have both gotten 3rd and 4th reprints. This is massive. As I've said, you don't want to miss out on Radiant Black, you guys. This is the best comic out there right now in the superhero genre. Alright, you guys, that wraps it up for this week. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Follow me on Twitter at The Weekly Pulls. I'm very active on Twitter. Every week is a good week for comics. Every Wednesday is New Comic Book Day. Support your local comic shop. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think of my videos. Let me know if you're reading the same books as I am. Let me know what you're reading if it's none of these. I want to know. Talk to me. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next week.